What is going on, West Coast Village? It is your boy, the West Coast Village Hokage, Jordan, back at it again with another video for you guys. This time we'll be bringing you guys some Xenoverse 2. I am joined by my brother, the Prophet. Say what's good.
Ah.
And this is a little bit of a different format than what you guys are probably used to. Instead of streaming, I'm doing an actual video because this game doesn't allow us to it doesn't allow us to use broadcasting elements for this game because of a giant block zone that's over it. I would have to use like a third-party streaming service to do it, which is super annoying. But we're going to be bringing you guys a video where we're going to be talking Dragon Ball Z and playing Dragon Ball Z, doing debates, trivia, quizzes, really whatever else comes to mind. So, without further ado, let us dive into the world of the Saiyans.
Hell yeah. So shit, I was supposed to be watching that video and I completely let it play in the background as I wasn't even looking out, I was staring at my girlfriend.
You're all good.
Okay. So I'm about to pull up our conversation from earlier because you made some good points that I wanted to bring back up.
Yeah.
Let me find Instagram real quick. Where the fuck?
Let's talk about it, baby. Talk about it, baby.
Alright, let's see. Okay. So, we were talking about Trunks and Gohan.
Yes.
And, I'm not gonna lie. I'm hearing myself.
Oh, it's the fucking echo from this headset.
And it makes it hard for me to process my thoughts.
Okay, then let's have a method where I'm going to mute my mic when I'm not talking, just that way we can like talk like one after the other and like bounce ideas off of each other, and that way you won't be able to hear much of the echo while stuff is being said.
Okay. Okay, so we were talking about Goku Black and Goku and everything, and so I didn't realize, or I guess at some point I realized, but never really processed the fact that that was a different Trunks completely. That was there.
Yeah. So the section in particular, what we were talking about in Dragon Ball Super, is when they introduced the Goku Black arc in turn of Trunks going back to the past. And having kind of a mini episode when he sees regular Goku and not Goku Black, goes to swing at Goku and then gets slapped by Bulma. And we were at that point where it was like, oh cool, it's just Trunks. And then it dawned on me that like, oh shit, he has different hair. Oh, all this other shit's happening. Like, it feels like the same Trunks because apparently in that timeline all the same shit had happened up to that point until Trunks was like, you guys might think I'm the same Trunks, but I'm not. Both historical events of the Cell Saga happen in both parallel universes, essentially, or parallel timelines. But he's like, I'm a different Trunks altogether, where I in turn defeated Deborah, Majin Buu, and I can't remember who the third person was because he also mentioned somebody. I think it was Bobbity. It might have been Bobbity. But he had talked about like how he's a different Trunks, but the amount of like historical things that happened in the past when he went back are the same. That's why he was able to say that like, I've met you to the younger Trunks, because in his separate timeline where the same things happen, he did meet Kid Trunks when he was a baby, and he does remember all this stuff, and he's like, yeah, I'm you from the future. We met each other once, but we're not exactly you, but I met you. You get what I'm kind of saying?
Yes, so I do understand, and I'm following a little bit better, especially since this explanation. The only thing that is messing with my head slightly is power scaling. Okay, so now we get into this issue with power scaling with Trunks, future Trunks, versus his other counterpart, future Trunks. So we'll say future Trunks 1 is the one from the Prime DBZ universe that we kind of follow, and we'll say future Trunks 2 or Trunks 2, whatever you want to call him, will be the one from that new Zamasu universe, Goku Black universe. But
Okay.
so with Trunks 1, he went through the Saiyan, or not Saiyan Saga, he went through the Cell Saga and the Android Saga, right? He ends up finishing with everyone. He's there, does everything he needs to do, goes back to his timeline. Now, we have 3 different Future Trunks, too, actually, now that I'm really sitting and thinking about it. Because we also have Future Trunks from a timeline in which he goes back to his future and is killed by Cell, and then this time machine is brought back to the past. So we have a dead Future Trunks, the main Prime Future Trunks, and then Super Future Trunks. And all 3 of them, obviously, different. But my confusion stems from at the end of the Cell Saga. Trunks is strong, yes, but how the fuck is he strong enough to go and fight off the same people who gave all of the Z Fighters a hard time when it comes for the Buu Saga?
I think that really comes with the sense of urgency to whatever situation that was. Because if you think about it, if Trunks, Trunks 2, if he goes through all of the same if he goes through the same like chronological timeline that Trunks 1 would go through with Z, right? If he was to go back to his future, and in Trunks 2's timeline, he's the person that fights Deborah, he's the person that fights Majin Buu, he's the person that fights Babidi. It would make sense, because if he was to go back to his future and he encounters all those people, versus when Trunks 1 wouldn't, he basically would like go back to the future, defeat Cell, who would try to take his time machine in the future, and then that's that, and he basically just kind of looks over the world. It would make sense that he would actually be able to defeat them all, because if you think about it, Gohan, Goku, and Vegeta are all the reason that Majin Buu even, was able to fully develop his body and was able to awaken and stuff like that, because the clash in between Goku and Vegeta caused enough energy to spew into the capsule for him to wake up. And Gohan, when they drew all the energy from Gohan when he turned Super Saiyan 2 in the tournament, watching Videl get beat by Spopovich. So them having to gather up all that energy and then trying to awaken Buu was automatically a dead set on why it would give them a hard time, because that's the combined power of 3 separate Saiyans. The urgency of Trunks having that whole situation, and the problem of, oh shit, these people say that this ancient being is going to awaken, we need to do what we need to do to get these people killed. And basically it's just Trunks at that point who's alive. He's obviously going to be able to do what he can and overpower Deborah, because I believe he said that he trained long and hard from the end of the Cell Saga, or whenever he went back to his future, to the Buu Saga, because that's a couple of years of like difference.
It's like 4 years, right?
Yeah.
How old was Gohan at the end of Cell Saga?
I believe he was 12, because he was he was 16 in high school.
Yeah, and he was what? So then he was 10 when he went into the hyperbolic time chamber? Or were they only in there for a year? So he was 11.
Yeah, so then he was 11 at the time of the Cell games.
Okay. And then he went in. Okay, so he had some years to go up. Another thing that we really have to think about the weird canon of the Dragon Ball universe is, why did the timeline still happen exactly the same on an Earth that was devoid of all of its Z Fighters and all of its people? Why didn't Majin Buu try to be resurrected sooner? Why didn't Babidi do something sooner if there was no one to stop him? Or I'm confused as to what would cause this new parallel universe that has nothing to do with our Prime universe to follow the exact same patterns as the original one set before it. wouldn't an entire extinction of people caused by the androids and a crazy like end of the world type event cause the world to not be stable? Or in this Trunks timeline, he goes to his future and defeats the androids before they do anything? These are the things that are confusing. Did all of the timeline events happen the exact same up until the Android Saga, and then it splits off for that future universe and becomes this super timeline? Yes, but why the hell does everything else still happen the same?
That is actually a really good point. I think it's also another reason why Whis and Beerus were so adamant on Bulma not making a time machine, because having the trips back and forth between the past and the future, as Goku Black has done, as Trunks has done, all doing that over and over again creates another parallel timeline. And I think the advent of Trunks going from in Trunks in Z going from the future to the past to stop the androids, and then going back from the past to the future to go after the Cell games and stuff. I feel like that became a catalyst to create that parallel universe that we see of Trunks 2. So everything relatively happens the same, but I think he goes back to the future after. I think he stated this when he was talking to Goku, Bulma, and Vegeta in Super, after he had like came to after kind of like passing out there for a little bit. I think he had explained that he went back to the future because he explained how he's different and how things chronologically take place the same. So they went through the whole Cell game saga. He went back to the future, killed Cell, and I think he also killed 17, 18, and 16, and Dr. Gero and 21 in his timeline. So therefore, there wasn't a mass extinction of humans in his timeline, and that's why when they go back to the future and everything's in shambles, Goku Black created the Zero Mortal plan, because there was a huge population on Earth, and they had been battling Black for months at that point, and by that time, Goku Black had wiped out most of the nations. So I think that in Trunks two's timeline, he went into the future so much to the point where it would be right around when the androids would appear. He took care of them early, so that way most of the human population on Earth could flourish. So that leaves that giant error for like, oh hey, we can have all of these people and potential fighters at the time full of energy and stuff like that, which would make sense because that means that, Babidi, Spopovich, Deborah, all of them would still need to go out and technically find energy from fighters and stuff like that might be alive within that timeline. Granted, Future Trunks 2 didn't have Vegeta. And Goku still technically dies from the heart disease in that timeline. So it's still technically a mirror copy of the first one. The difference is that where Trunks 1 would basically just go on to defeat Cell and then basically be a peace fighter for his respective timeline, Trunks 2 would be presented with the problem of Deborah, Spopovich, Majin Buu, Kid Buu, Super Buu, and stuff like that. But the great part is that he didn't even have to fight Majin Buu, because when Babidi and Deborah went out to go search for energy sources to give to Buu so he can awaken, he immediately took care of Deborah by slicing him in half and blasting him like he did Mecha Frieza, and then he killed Babidi, and then he ended up blowing up the capsule that held Majin Buu. So in theory, Trunks 2 never even actually had to fight. Yeah, he didn't have to fight Majin Buu. He basically just defeated Babidi and Deborah before they could even do anything to resurrect Majin Buu. So technically, he quote unquote
hard task.
Yeah, so technically he didn't quote unquote fight Majin Buu, but he more or less just like defeated him before anything could happen.
Okay. Now that those questions are answered, I would like to point out even more have arisen within our explanations.
Okay.
So now we have a little bit of a better understanding and grip of the Trunks Majin timeline, whatever, how that worked out. But if we're assuming, so there's two possible outcomes for this. Either Trunks went to when this Trunks left the Z Fighters, he went to an earlier point in the timeline that was still after that point to defeat the androids, right? And then move on from there. If that is the case, then why wouldn't he have just stayed in the prime DBZ universe that we follow uh, with them if he was just going to take a completely different timeline's life? Because that's essentially what he does there by doing that. If he goes to a timeline that isn't exactly what his was when he left, then he is displacing another universe. He's taking and moving, basically. He's leaving his Bulma mom in their universe and going to a different one completely than what he left. And living his life there and completely disregarding everything that happened. And then that makes us ask, what time point did he go back to? Did he stop any of the Z fighters from dying? I mean, we have Yajirobe, but I'm sure Yajirobe survived in the other one. He's just so much of a pussy, you would have never known. And then, on the other side of that coin, if he did go back to his main Prime universe, the fuck happened? Did they just repopulate the Earth like a son of a bitch in a few years, or what? What? I don't know. There's just some issues still. I feel as if that it was a huge mistake for Toriyama to attempt to do timeline work because there's so many holes there. There's so many discrepancies within how his version of time travel and timelines work that it really heavily confuses anyone who looks at it for more than a few minutes. So I'm just... The fuck did Trunks do?
I think, and we're talking about Trunks 2, correct?
Yeah, Trunks Super.
So the problem with what's going on is the fact that he, to be honest, and that's a giant, that'll be a giant time paradox in itself, because if you remember back in Z, Trunks was like, I need to not change too much that happens in this present timeline because it'll dramatically affect the events of what was supposed to happen originally, which is going to be bad because what I think Trunks might have done is because he even stated himself that, you know, me going back and forth in time has in turn created another universe with another Trunks, and I guess that could be another home for me and Mai. The problem is that if he, staying true to who Trunks is and him probably trying to prevent all the things that have happened from happening, he's probably gonna go back to a point when the Trunks of the new timeline that he's going to would know enough about what's going on and about, you know, time travel enough for it to not like freak him out and for him to actually like offer help. So if that's the case, he would probably be entering in around an android saga of a new Trunks, which would be completely redundant because at that point he has Super Saiyan God of Rage, which basically puts him on par with Super Saiyan God, which would completely overpower any of the androids at that point. He could probably literally flick his wrist and destroy all of them at the same time.
I honestly completely forgot that he goes to a different timeline at the end of Super 2, and now there's two Trunks inside of one timeline. How the fuck does he explain that? How do we know that he didn't get there and that Trunks was like, who the fuck is you, and killed him on the spot?
We don't actually. We don't at all.
We know nothing.
He literally just goes blip, and that's it. Him and Mai go off to a different future with a different Trunks and a different Mai, unless they would go to a. Okay, and then there's another good point. They could also, in turn, try to go into the future to see if the events of Goku Black and Zamasu happen to a different Trunks. So that way there will be two Trunks potentially having Super Saiyan God of Rage, or Trunks with a different form, because, you know, not every timeline is going to be exactly the same. So we could potentially have a Trunks that grows up alongside Vegeta, possibly takes the route of Destroyer and unlocks Super Saiyan Blue just like Vegeta does. And if that's the case, then you would have two God form Trunks going against Goku Black and Zamasu. But who's to say that even that's going to be their initial problem? Because what if in that timeline Goku doesn't bump his head and forget all of his Saiyan, nature, where he's like gung ho on destroying everything? Who's to say that Goku isn't the actual main villain of the whole thing? So there's like a big, massive fucking plot hole where we don't know which future timeline he's going to. Hell, it could even be a timeline with BoJack, which would make some of the movies canon, which, God forbid, there's too many of those fucking things anyways. So it's really hard to really grasp where grasp where he would even go to at that juncture, because he doesn't exactly talk about what type of future he's going to.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone do we even get a hint from Toriyama on, what future he wants the Trunks to go to. So in the end, we're kind of just left in the dark on that.
Well, the good thing is, I have nothing to say. Yeah, I lost my train of thought halfway through that sentence. Oh shit. Okay, well, I think I'm satisfied with the fact that we'll never have true answers to anything that happened with Trunks.
That is fair.
It's okay. I mean, it's not the end of the world. We'll live.
That's very fair. That's very fair.
I do, however, think that I would have enjoyed a little bit more explanation, or what the fuck is going on here? God darn, dang flabbit.
I see you.
Where are you at?
Right here.
Oh shit.
I just have to do my best not to move because now she has seen me. Oh, I made it away. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, she caught me.
Yeah, that bitch ain't catching me.
There was this time I was like flying above her up here, and she started running at me flying, and it made me automatically fall to the ground. Yeah, but
like this. Oh shit!
No.
I'm dodging her. Yeah. Yeah. Nope. Ah shit!
Dumbass.
Fuck.
She got you?
Yeah, she got me. Where do you want to go to? I feel like having some scenic locations for us to go to.
Well, wherever. Oh, let's go to.
Because we have the Namek place,
Yeah.
we have the like King Yama mushroom place up there, we have the tournament stage, we have the top part of the what's
Come back to Goku's.
Oh, Goku's house? Okay, on my way. But what else? Oh, but to elaborate on what you said, I am also kind of content with like not really having an answer, because that kind of leaves it up to interpretation of if Trunks will ever come back, per se.
Yeah,
Which is-
are they doing more?
Well, I guess that's kind of the part that's up to interpretation, because technically Trunks lives in a different timeline but is still within Universe 7, so they could technically recruit him for the Tournament of Power.
They could have.
Which would be very interesting, having like a Super Saiyan of Rage. And that makes more speculation for just kind of the way the next Tournament of Power can go, because now that
Tournament of Power.
No, they've already hinted for them having another Tournament of Power.
What?
Did you not? Oh yeah, that's right. You don't remember certain parts of Super. Zeno-sama said that they're gonna host another one as soon as possible. So, but they're gonna give like all the universes essentially a break just to like recuperate and train for a while. So who knows whenever Super starts back up how fast that's gonna come in the timeline. But they said that but both Xenos said that they wanted to do it again, and Goku even instigated it further before Beerus tried to shut him up. And he was like, "Yeah, let's have another one soon, and let's have even more fighters, or even more powerful fighters and more powerful universes, because apparently, yes, there are 12, but apparently there are other fighters within the universes that are strong."
That are worth looking at. So,
Yes.
how many universes were destroyed?
11.
No. I mean, so there's universes that no longer exist
Mm,
before the Tournament of Power that they've talked about Xeno destroying at other times.
I think there was 2 that got destroyed permanently.
What the fuck did they do?
Not sure. I know Frost is for sure dead.
Hold on.
Because Frost tried to interfere with a match that was going on inside the arena after he got eliminated by Frieza out of anger, and Xeno permanently deleted him. So I guess it's more of. I'm pretty sure it was 2 that got permanently deleted.
I'm pulling up a list of the multiverse for them.
It was either that, or it was like 2 of the universes like weren't to participate in the Tournament of Power or something like that.
I know that there was some universes that were too strong.
Yeah, I think it was like Universe 2 and something else. No, it's Universe 1. Because the universes that were erased, because there wasn't a full number of them.
Mm-hmm.
The universes that participated in the Tournament of Power were 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 11. So that means 1, 5, 8, and 12 were not in it.
Okay.
So that means 4 universes didn't participate. I don't know if
there's been listen to this. So we have 12 universes in total, right?
Yes.
There are 6 other universes that were already erased by the time we found out about these ones.
Jeez. So that means that there was originally 18.
Yes, and we know nothing about any of them. It seems like they've not given us a single bit of it.
Which is pretty interesting.
I want to know what those universes were like who was in it. And what the fuck could they have possibly done to be erased?
Yeah, and that's another thing for universes 1, 5, 8, and 12 to not participate because they were too powerful makes me wonder who was in those universes.
And those are twin universes too. So 1 and 12 are twin universes, and 5 and 8 are twin universes.
And they didn't let Universe 1 compete at all because apparently that's the highest ranked universe of all of them. As said by Grand Priest himself.
I'm looking at their hierarchy right now, and like shit. Well, they have humans in this universe. Universe 12. I'm looking at Universe 12 right now.
Mm.
It's called the Ultimate Universe. 12 of the 12 universes in the Dragon Ball series. It includes planets, stars, and large amount of galaxies. Universe 12 is linked with Universe 1, creating a twin universe. Universe 12 is one of the 4 universes that have an average mortal level above 7 on Xeno's scale. Thus, its inhabitants, both divine and mortal, are exempt from being erased along with the inhabitants of Universes 1, 5, and 8. It is the universe with the second highest mortal level. The god of destruction of Universe 12 is Keen, the Supreme Kai is Agu, and the angel is Martinu.
Martinu, huh?
And I feel like it still doesn't really tell me much of anything about the universe. I want to know so much more. You can't give us
Uh,
12 universes of people and not expand upon them.
it was officially revealed that it was due to those universes having a sufficient mortal level, with the other 8 being too low. As a result, both Xenos were going to destroy the struggling universes due to poor god management. However, Goku inspired the Xenos to prepare a tournament instead, which resulted in only the losers being erased. However, it was doubtful that this is the only reason why these 4 universes have been exempted for the Tournament of Power.
Hmm.
So apparently, the four the 4 universes that were exempt, 1, 5, 8, and 12, have high mortal levels, which means that they're mortals with high intelligence, speed, power, and something else.
Does that mean that? I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say, does that mean that there's people there that are stronger than Goku? But I mean, there's still people in our universe that's stronger than Goku. So,
That is true.
I mean, it's not like he's the fucking strongest. I don't know what's going on in my head right now, trying to make Goku some ineffable person, which I mean, technically kind of is.
Yeah. This also raises a this next section actually raises a good question. Basically, everyone in Goku's universe was weaker than him, so Dragon Ball Super's creators needed to create other universes for Goku to find strong opponents. It has already been hinted by Whis that there is a mortal stronger than the God of Destruction. However, Whis didn't go into this topic any further, and it is assumed that the fighter that Whis is talking about resides in one of the 4 universes exempt from the tournament. Some fans believe that the fighter Whis was referring to, is in fact Jiren from Universe 11. However, if that was true, then Whis would have said his name after he was revealed. As a result, Whis' mention of the strongest fighter out there points to those exempt universes.
Yeah, he most definitely would have pointed out and said, "Yeah, that's that guy I told you about that's stronger than the God of Destruction."
Yeah, and he
Don't touch
definitely
it.
did not do that.
Where did you go?
Place called comicbook.com. Well, I just looked up.
No, I mean in the game.
Oh, I'm down by the waterfall by Goku's house.
Okay, that's really. Okay.
I was like, to get my information, I'll tell you.
I'm on Wikipedia. But so where are we? We are at. And you said they think it's from someone from Universe 4?
Oh, one of the 4 exempt universes.
Oh, okay.
Which would make sense if the high mortal rate of Universe 1 made them automatically exempt as a first suggestion by Zeno himself and Grand Priest. That's obviously saying a lot.
Do we know how much more they plan to create? I mean, even with the manga?
No, apparently, where the manga left off right now, there's apparently a being who, because they added another Shenron where it doesn't take 7 Dragon Balls, it takes 2. And he wished to be the strongest person in the universe, so it automatically bumped his power cap over everyone. So apparently the quote-unquote strongest person in Super right now is this new person who came into the recent chapters of the manga.
Mm.
It's
I'm
weird.
only
He's like
12 chapters
greenish.
behind right now.
I would say he's like greenish with like white hair.
What the fuck? Okay, well, I gotta catch back up in the manga, I guess, because I stopped right at the point when Piccolo and Gohan are fighting that weird-looking guy with no nose. That's
Moro.
Moro's one of Moro's servants.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Some ugly ass big dude.
Yeah.
So I haven't read any of that. What's the discrepancies between the canon of the manga and the show? Because now there's a huge difference in events that are happening in the show and in the manga comparatively to each other. Because if we look at the events of like the Tournament of Power in the manga versus the show, there's a world of difference. So do we have 2 different canons? is one more canonized than the other? Are they both the same thing technically, but the way that they're told is what the fuck is the issue there? Because the end of events are still the same, but the lead up is different.
Yeah, I think that's the difficult question to answer because obviously certain things within both happen canonically the same, technically, but a lot of things differ in the build up as you stated before. Like, for instance, for instance, Goku can use Hakai and use Hakai to technically kill Zamasu, which isn't exactly a tech.
Goku does it?
Yeah, Goku uses the Hakai in the Goku Black Saga.
What the fuck? Goku attempts Hakai on Fusamasu during his final fight against Fusamasu. Goku uses this technique by concentrating all the energy of perfected Super Saiyan Blue state on his hand, destroying almost half of Fusamasu's upper body, but is halted after the latter uses Future Mai as a human shield. That's fucking incredible.
Yes. So as you can see by that alone, that's in the canon manga. So obviously we can see that there are major discrepancies between the two canons, but apparently both have the same end goal. So I guess it's basically just like variants of stuff. Because obviously Dragon Ball Super was made, like, the show was made first. The actual anime was made first, and then the manga was kind of like written on for what Akira Toriyama actually wanted for Dragon Ball Super. So it's hard to say what is what because Akira Toriyama is the main voice for the anime, but he's also the main. He's literally the pen to paper for the entire manga as well. So it's really hard to say what is truly canon.
Mm-hmm. And you know, for most of the manga and the actual show, if I'm remembering correctly, was the show ahead of the manga?
The show was ahead of the manga by I think an entire arc. Because while we were in, let's see, the Zen exhibition matches before the Tournament of Power, when we were in that, they were just starting the Goku Black stuff. Because even then, Goku Black, instead of him staying in his base form the entire time, Goku Black in the manga has a Super Saiyan form that he uses.
Well, I mean, in the anime, he uses the Super Saiyan Rose, right?
Yes, no, but I'm talking Goku Black has a base Super Saiyan 1 form.
What?
That he uses in the manga to fight Goku. And they did not even include that in the anime because the anime was so far ahead, and then Akira Toriyama had these ideas to give so much extra, like, eye candy and detail to the manga. So a lot of things are fucked between the two.
Why the fuck are they doing it like that?
Yeah, but it's because the anime was so far ahead of the manga itself that they didn't really think to add soul stuff to the anime at the time. And then when Akira Toriyama has time to like go back and actually like think about what's going on, he has these like great ideas like, oh, Goku Black is gonna use fucking Super Saiyan. Why? Don't know.
Just cause.
Just cause. Like, that would have been dope. Because I don't think his ki would have been gold. Like a regular Super Saiyan.
It pisses me off that they gave Vegeta Super Saiyan God, like base Super Saiyan God.
Mm-hmm.
In the manga, we didn't get to see it animated until the Broly movie.
Yeah, and that's another thing. That makes you wonder how they're going to put things together for when Super comes. Events. Yeah. And
because he uses it actively in this saga.
So that makes me wonder how much of this stuff that we see in the movies for Super that fits into the timeline and everything previously perfectly. I wonder how much of the stuff is going to get retconned because apparently Vegeta can use fucking Super Saiyan God.
Yeah,
Base God.
Super Saiyan God. So we got to see Super Saiyan God in the Broly movie, which is canon. it is canon to everything that's happening. They directly reference it in the manga, and they directly reference the tournament power and certain specific things in the movie itself that kind of solidify it. Whereas like in past movies, they talk about events, but they really just focus on the story at hand. They don't really talk about, hey, do you remember like last week when I had that piece of chicken? That's weird. But they did that in this movie.
Yeah, because the Broly movie starts off like the day after the Tournament of Power, which is actually pretty nice.
I love that movie. That movie's really good.
I do too. The thing is I wonder if Vegeta is just, essentially being a badass, and he's been able to go Super Saiyan God this whole time. He just doesn't want to. Because if you think about it, Vegeta has a way of just skipping around forms through Dragon Ball history, period.
That's true.
Like, think about it.
Goku he's never went Super Saiyan 3.
Exactly, but he can skip straight to Super Saiyan Blue. So in a sense, I feel like he knew how to use Super Saiyan God, but he tapped into the Super Saiyan at the time he figured out how to use Super Saiyan God, and it instantly took him straight to Blue. It's kind of the same like how when he originally unlocked Super Saiyan, like he
was on a moon angry.
Yeah, he was in a mood, angry, training in Bulma's at Bulma's place. Didn't show that he knew how to use Super Saiyan. He was just like, I'm a Super Saiyan now, and then bam, knows how to use Super Saiyan.
Oh wait, no, I thought he went Super Saiyan in outer space for the first time. Wasn't he training in space? I thought Trunks was the one who went Super Saiyan in the training capsules.
No, I thought that was No, I thought that was Vegeta, because remember, Vegeta came straight from training and figuring out how to use Super Saiyan straight to fighting Android 19 and 20. Because we figured out that Trunks is a Super Saiyan, because remember, Vegeta was there when Trunks killed Frieza and King Cold.
Yeah. So hold on. Motherfucker. No, that's not what I was trying to Google.
I was going to say, because in the middle of him training, he said that was when he figured out how to unlock it. But then he went straight to Android 19 and 20, and then he finally used it, and that's when everybody else figured out that he can go Super Saiyan, because he basically Big Bang attacked 19 to oblivion. And then Dr. Gero got away, and then they found his lab, and then Trunks and Krillin blew it up.
I guess I'm just trying to fucking understand why in my head he was in outer space. Needs an after a Saiyan, because I thought he was training out there by himself. Base form, which is why.
I was gonna say, I think he was training at Bulma's place, because I remember him training under gravity like Goku did, because he wanted to try to mimic what Goku was doing, and when he got frustrated, that was when he figured it out, because he saw a hint of Super Saiyan while he was training at Bulma's place, and then he went straight from there to fighting the androids, which is kind of why he got clapped by 18 so easily, because at that point he hadn't really used Super Saiyan for like more than like a day. And instantly got his shit fucked and his arm broken and shit.
Okay. So listen. And then we come to Vegeta, who never loved or cared about anyone enough for vengeance to be an option, so that leaves survival. Enter this guy. Then it shows a picture of him blasting asteroids. That's the finale of a massive meteor storm which threatened to kill Vegeta or destroy his ship, leaving him stranded in space with just space rocks for food. After just barely surviving for some time, all other thoughts fell away. He didn't want to be the best. He didn't want to transform all. Hell, he didn't want to defeat Goku, but he instinctively needed to survive. So he did become. It was in space. He was going up against like a meteor shower. That's how he was training himself.
Mm.
And that. But he did go straight to the saga. I'm pretty sure the androids next. Okay, baby, I love you. I knew I wasn't fucking going crazy. I was like, what the fuck? Why do I remember outer space? Okay. That makes a little more sense. I love the way the manga of Dragon Ball looks so much more. For what? Oh, my spine just popped. I'm drowning.
Who is Vegeta?
Who is Vegeta?
I know who the fuck he is.
The shit. After throwing the mother of all temper tantrums, teaching the clowns brat a lesson.
Huh.
Also, I mean, I guess this technically doesn't have to do with anything in the show, or it's not the show's fault for not explaining this. But is there a never-ending amount of levels of Super Saiyan? Does it directly correlate to how powerful you are?
Yeah, I think it directly correlates to how powerful you are. That's why we don't really see anything beyond Super Saiyan 3, because a lot of people's power caps stop there, and they need a different form to keep that going, which is why Goku stuck with Super Saiyan 3 fighting Beerus until he figured out that Super Saiyan God was a form that he could achieve, and then his cap kind of just levels out to whatever it would be against Beerus, essentially.
Is there another traditional Super Saiyan form after Super Saiyan 3 that I mean, they've never shown any. I know that. Like, I know that the answer is technically no. Okay. I'm not ignorant to the Super Saiyanness. But essentially, there should be a proper Super Saiyan 4. Not one that was done with the ape transformation, but if it just takes how much power you funnel into your Super Saiyan transformation, right? Goku and Vegeta with much more power and not trying to go Super Saiyan Super Saiyan Blue. Essentially, they could just transform into a Super Saiyan that was stronger than a Super Saiyan 3 by channeling more power into that transformation, right? That's how a Super Saiyan transformation works. I'm assuming.
True.
It's not like a different technique. You know, they're still doing the same transformation, they're just doing it stronger. So I wonder if there's like a Super Saiyan 32.
Possibly.
You wanna fuck some shit up?
Yeah. This is what I was talking about. When Vegeta explains how he got Super Saiyan in the anime. It says Vegeta says that his motivation was very different from Goku's, that his way to be the very best. He tells of how he trained in extreme conditions and in 450 times gravity. A simple training exercise became a struggle for survival. Even the simplest moves required every ounce of willpower he had. The only thing that held his body together was his desire to become stronger than Kakarot. He decided to continue his training in space, where he wouldn't have any distractions. When a lightning storm erupted on the planet he was on, he welcomed it. Meteors began to fall, and he was determined to protect himself and his ship. It was his only way off of this nightmarish piece of rubble. He thought he had everything under control, and then a giant meteor appeared. Normally, it would have been nothing to destroy that rock, but after training in 450 times normal gravity, it took everything he had and more. Then something inside him snapped. He didn't care anymore. Oh no, then this is the part that you read. Okay. He did not want to be a Super Saiyan anymore. He did not care if he lived. He did not care about anything. And then it happened. He transformed into a Super Saiyan. He exclaims that the sleeper has awoken, and he is a Prince of all Saiyans once again. And then it goes on to talk about how he folded Android
Were you on Quora?
19. Nope, fandom.
Fandom? No, I read like literally that exact same thing on Quora.
I didn't think he was on a distant planet. That's why I was like, all right, cool. I thought that he was just training at Bulma's place when it happened.
Well, he still had the spaceship with him, so I'm pretty sure he was able to use that. Fucking, he only wanted to be in space, so he didn't have any distractions.
That's also fair. That actually makes a lot more sense. But at the same time, that's also like, that also brings about the fact that I think that's the only time when a place where he is trained has kept him contained.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he went into, because when he went into the hyperbolic time chamber in the Cell games, he almost broke it, getting to the form of Super Vegeta. But luckily, the hyperbolic time chamber held together. But it was pretty fucked on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other time he trained, that I remember, was in Super, when after they went back to the past after fighting Goku Black. And he used the hyperbolic time chamber and completely blew it up.
Yeah, so is there no hyperbolic time chamber now?
No, it is, actually,
This is something we're gonna have to internet check.
Yeah, I actually don't know, because before that, the only other time I saw the hyperbolic time chamber before that was during the Frieza saga, and that's because they shot Piccolo, and Piccolo was almost dead, and Dende had to move the entire lookout to go and save Piccolo. No, I think they used it another time farther into Super. I don't remember what for. That's actually a really good...
Oh, you know what they did use in Super? They didn't use the hyperbolic time chamber. They used the Galactic Patrol's hyperbolic time chamber, the one that's like on that planet. Goku and what's his face go in there? Miras.
True.
Or Maris. Fuck his name is. Hours before the tournament of power, Vegeta decides to train in the reconstructed. Okay, hold on. So it was
yeah, because he destroyed it the first time. Yeah, because he destroyed it the first time in the training, and with Goku Black, and he destroyed it the second time before the tournament of power.
Once again, anyway, after finishing his, I just don't. Why? Why does he have to break it?
I mean, it transcends time and space, but I guess that kind of doesn't really hold a candle to the power of gods. Because if you think about it, Majin Buu himself was able to tear the fabric of reality in between the outside and the inside. So it doesn't really take much to destroy it, or at least pass through it. Because remember, once the doors are locked, they're locked. Because only two people can go in there at a certain amount, and within like a given time frame. And Boo was able to break it, trying to get Gotenks, and then ended up sealing himself inside on accident.
How fucking hard it is to fix.
Oh well, Popo seems to do it pretty easily.
It just seems like a weird thing to fix.
Approximate. Oh, they have like approximate time dilations for the hyperbolic time chamber.
For the different ones?
Yeah, for like different increments in between like the outside world and inside the chamber. Because 1 second is 6 minutes, a minute is 6 hours and 5 minutes, an hour is 15 days, 5 hours and 14 minutes, and 1 day is a year. Can you imagine spending 1 hour in a fucking hyperbolic time chamber?
And then it's a year?
Yes.
Or no, it is a day a year.
1 day in the real world's a year in the chamber. Can you imagine spending like 2 weeks in the hyperbolic time chamber and come out and it's like the next day?
That's fucking crazy.
You want to go in the hyperbolic time chamber for a year and just make a shit ton of YouTube shit and then just have like a year's worth of content?
Or like go in there to literally do what they do and train and diet without any distractions. Be like, man, I really wish I could lose 10 pounds before I have to go to this thing in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Go in the hyperbolic time chamber in there for an hour in the real world, and you're there for like what? How much time is that?
Okay, so we don't know why it technically was broken in the first place because the first increments of it, even talking about it, the hyperbolic time chamber in Dragon Ball Super, it immediately says Dende fixes the time chamber so Goku and Vegeta could train there, but it doesn't say how it broke in the first place.
Would it have broken when Boo was in it? Or was the lookout destroyed at any point? At the end of season? No.
No, because when I go back up, it says the hyperbolic time chamber is rendered non-functional without a door and must be repaired for future use. It can be argued that when Boo... Nope. Yeah, it was still broken from Boo's time.
Okay.
They never fixed the door. But then I guess in game canon in Dragon Ball Z Shin Budokai 18 mentions that Piccolo fixed the door after the lookout was wished back. So because then Goku and Vegeta train in there for 3 years, which is 3 days. Yeah, apparently so.
When was the lookout gone?
I guess it got destroyed at some point. Wait, let me see.
Stop doing drugs or something, because there's so much of Dragon Ball that I just don't remember all of a sudden.
Oh. It says the hyperbolic time chamber is rendered non-functional without a door and it must be repaired for future use. It can be argued that when Boo destroyed... Okay, so Boo destroyed Kami's lookout. Apparently.
Did he?
Yeah, because it says it could be argued that when Boo destroyed Kami's lookout in later episodes, the hyperbolic time chamber could have been fully repaired because the lookout was wishback damage free.
Yeah, he does destroy it. I forgot about that.
Which is fucked, because he destroyed all of the population of Earth in one move, and then he destroyed the lookout directly after that.
That's when he like shoots the beams into the air, right? And it just goes all over the place and destroys everything. Okay, yeah, and then he fucking kills everyone.
Everyone. The population goes to like only the people that are like on the lookout, which is super fucked.
So but he kills those ones too, though, because everyone's dead. Because Krillin's in heaven, or not heaven, fucking Otherworld. Because he meets all those tournament fighters and everything. And then Chi-Chi, I believe, meets Demon King Deborah.
Yes. Yeah.
Where do I have to go?
The online parallel quest counter. Okay, so Goku and Vegeta used it when they went to go face off against Champa's team when they first met Hit. They also used it in Future Trunks Saga. After their second loss to Goku Black and Future Zamasu, Vegeta and Goku return to the past, and while Goku learns the evil containment wave, Vegeta decides to spend the time training in the chamber. Bulma tells him that it will take approximately half a day to recharge the time machine. Vegeta prepares to train in the time chamber for this duration, roughly 6 months in the chamber. After he is done training, Vegeta destroys the time chamber before returning to the future, most likely because Vegeta already went into the hyperbolic time chamber more than twice, and if he enters the chamber again after 2 times, the door will be permanently shut.
Okay. Fuck, dude. That's a lot.
Oh, so he went into the chamber twice, and coming back from the past, he went in it again, and it locked. So he had to destroy it to get out. That's fucked.
Dude, there's so much to Dragon Ball